Hi and welcome to Dear Dada, where we inspire, encourage, and strengthen widows to live a fulfilling life even after the loss of their spouses. And we are guided by the belief, bloom where you're planted. Today in my show, I'm privileged to have a special guest. Her name is Alice Diana, who is a definition, I can't even define her. She is a strong woman, an ardent supporter of Ongea Dada, and she is the definition of resilience itself. I'm so glad to host her. Welcome to the show, Alice.
Thank you so much, Liz. I'm really honored and I really feel privileged to be here. Ongea Dada is an outfit that has really assisted me. If I look at my journey in widowhood, I think without the support and things that I've learned in Ongea Dada, I wouldn't be where I am. I'm truly grateful.
Asante. We thank God. So tell us a bit about your background, where you come from, growing up. How was it?
Alice was born in Nairobi. Actually, just led almost average lifestyle. Born in Nairobi, schooled in Nairobi. I schooled in Junior Road Primary, went to Pagani Girls. I deviated to Kisumu Rural's Nyolo Girls. Then immediately I finished school. We were in it was called the education of Form 6. I went to Form 6. Then after Form 6, I started working. Then went to college. I did sales and marketing. So that has been my career all through. I was in sales and marketing. I was fortunate to meet my spouse and partner in 1996. We were both young, enjoyed life, but we decided to take the way forward to move to the next level in 1998.
You're really rushing this, Alice. And you look good for someone who did the last, that system,
A levels.
A levels. Yes,
Yeah.
you've really taken good care of yourself.
Yeah.
So tell us how and when did you meet your husband?
We actually met in 1996, if I can remember. I remember it was at the Kencom stage. It's a very interesting story while I remember I was with a friend, and this guy got into it was KBS number 46. It was going to come up. Then this good friend of mine, apparently they knew each other. So they got talking, and I was just looking, and I was kind of like amused.
So you're coming from work? Are you working that time or you still in college?
No, at that time, it was past college, I didn't even started working. Yeah, I had my own place at an SQ somewhere in Gumo, and my friend was also in an SQ somewhere near where Junction Supermarket.
Yes.
The one in Dagoretti Corner is. Yeah, she was staying around there.
Okay.
So we were actually going to her place. So we get into this 46 plies that route. So when we at Kencom, this guy in Boots, apparently they are good friends, they have good rapport, so they get talking inside the bus. He asks me my name, I tell him, I also get to know his name.
Yeah.
Now, as the bus is going, when we got to Adams Arcade, he alighted. And when he alighted, as he's walking, there was this castrate that young men used to have. There's a way they used to walk.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, there's a way they used to walk.
Uh-huh.
So this guy is starting, and I said, hey, we're that walking style. Then he looks back, and our eyes meet. So I tell my friend, well, now that's the kind of person I'm going to relate to.
Wow. Because of the walking style or just how
It's very interesting, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But then, when I told my friend that, I didn't know she was a matchmaker.
Oh, really?
So somewhere she just twisted things. One time she tells me that, hey, come and meet me at the dancing school. We used to meet at dancing school. Our office was at Slopak House, the now Transnational Plaza.
Yes.
So when I go there, just when I'm seated as we are chatting with her, somebody walks in. It's now William. Now William is my husband, my late husband.
Yes.
So William walks in, and then at that time she has a very good excuse. He walks out.
Oh,
So that is when we started relating, and everything moved on from there.
wow. Okay. So you date, you get married.
Yes.
Immediately after, or after how long?
Actually it took about 3 years, because that was 96. We actually took the blood in 98, no, 97. 97. Yeah. Because 98 is when I was blessed with my firstborn daughter.
Yes.
And 99, I got my son.
Yes.
My son, unfortunately, was born with a condition called autism.
Yes.
Yeah. So we took the blood, we continued in 2006, blessed me with another son,
Yes.
George. And then in 2007, I got my last one, Maggie. So we took on life, living as a family, doing the things that family do. Then he actually used to work outside most of the time.
Outside
He
the
preferred,
country.
yes, he preferred working outside. He said the pay there was better than here.
Yes.
So he's somebody who has worked in Nigeria, he worked in Ethiopia, he worked in Tanzania. Now when COVID happened,
How long? How can you describe, before you get to COVID, how was marriage like? How can you describe?
marriage life, I could say was, let me say was good. I cannot really complain about it.
And how long were you?
Close to 23 years, 24.
Ah,
Yeah. 24. It was good. We went through the normal challenges of
couple.
a couple, of course, those ones are there. But somewhere by God's grace, we used to know how to maneuver and how to deal with it. Yeah.
Oh, so you continued working as you were raising your children, as you worked outside the country?
No, in 2014, as I told you, my second born, Eric, and my third born, George, were born with this condition called autism. Autism is something very complex.
Yes.
It's a developmental disorder,
Yes.
and navigating that road was not easy.
Probably for someone who does not understand, just briefly, how does it look like? Like, how does a child with autism?
The interesting thing about autism is it is not it's not specific to one person.
Oh,
You can have 10 people with autism,
yes.
but their behavior, the way they present themselves, the way they behave themselves is different. They are all uniquely them.
Oh,
So with my voice, it's the same. But the main thing is they have a social awkwardness. They are these kids who isolate themselves. They just want to be their own. They have, you'll find some of them, even if they're assisted, they have repetitive mannerism. Some of them talk to themselves. Some of them, it's basically delayed. Delayed, yes. Yes.
Okay. So in 2014?
So 2014 is when I stopped working.
Yes.
Because at that time I thought with what I was going through, I could manage my sons better.
Yes.
He had a good job, he could be able to meet the needs of the home. So I decided I wanted to go back to school. And I remember I joined KISE so that I could do special needs education. It was frustrating looking for a school for my sons. So I thought I could teach them myself. I could homeschool them. Which later I learned was a tall order. But I respect people who do homeschooling their children. Yeah. So, but I went through KISE. I got a certificate on special needs education for learning disabilities because that is what my kids have. So after that, 2014, I was not working. I was actually a stay-at-home mom for about 3-4 years. 2018, I tried a stint at selling insurance at Britam. Then COVID happened.
COVID happened in 2019?
2020. I remember the lockdown was in March, actually in March.
Yes.
And he was in Ethiopia because the lockdown found him in Ethiopia.
Yes.
So because he was in Ethiopia, there was no way to Kenya. Yes. So he was there, we were here in Kenya, we communicate by phone and all that.
This is 2019 March.
2020.
Oh, sorry, 2020
20
March. Yes.
Yes. So even him, he was really looking forward to coming back home in Kenya.
Yes.
So immediately there was an opening. I think it came around October. When there was that opening, he decided to fly back to the country. So he flew back to Kenya because there was this testings they were doing.
Yes.
If you had COVID, it was tested. He got on board, he flew to Kenya. In Kenya, he had a few errands to run. So I remember even went to Shags, met my mom-in-law. They had a chat. Now, when he came back, he had a very bad cold. And he needed also to go back to because he had been given leave for, I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
Now, when he went for the test, it turned out positive.
Okay. These are the tests before we travel back to work.
Yes. Okay. I remember that was November, because it passed on November 15th. That was the week before. I'd say maybe around November 10th, November 9th.
Yes.
So he gets this test that it's positive. And there was a lot of fear mongering at that time. In fact, in my heart, I feel that fear mongering is what actually finished many people. But for him, when he got the results, he decided that he's going to stay at home. We see how we can navigate about it. But he also had some underlying conditions, which I think aggravated. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he knew about it. So by remember Friday he was having breathing problems. We rushed to Mata. Mata, it became very difficult because they were making some demands. So I decided, if this is what it is, the Saturday, let's rush him because we took an ambulance from Mata to Kenyatta University, whatever. Referral. And at that time, we were still communicating.
You're there with him in the
Yes,
ambulance?
we were there with him in the ambulance. All the way to the hospital.
Yes.
Then he was admitted. Now, when he was admitted, we left there because you see that time they used to be taken to that
Isolation.
Yes. So he was taken there. And I left, trusting God and praying and just knowing that things are going to be good.
Yes.
Yeah, after all, these are the common obstacles we meet in our lives.
Yes.
So I went home. There's a friend of his who was working, I think, in the finance department in the hospital.
Yes.
So I would call him because at least he can be able to. They are not allowed to go there, but he can talk to the doctors. So on Sunday he
You were
calls.
not allowed to visit.
We are not.
You could just look through a window.
They were taken. You could not see
You
them.
could not see them completely.
Yes, it was quarantine.
Oh, yes.
It was quarantine. So you could not even see them. So now, when on Sunday, the friend calls me and tells me, yeah, by the way, I've talked to Willie, it's good and all that, blah, blah, blah. I prayed and I thanked to God. And I said, because now, as we were very sure by Tuesday, if whatever his report is good, he can be allowed to come home and finish the healing process.
Yes.
So we slept. Sunday we slept. Monday in the morning when I wake up, I find, because I have Truecaller, I find that the head nurse, KU, the initials of Kenyatta University, Referral. I ask myself, now, what is this?
Yes.
So when I look at it, I say, let me call. But I had gotten some. There's a fear.
Yes.
There's a fear. It's a feeling that I cannot even explain.
So that is Monday morning.
Monday
And you
morning.
had been admitted on a Saturday.
On Saturday.
Yes.
So I call, and the head nurse tells me, please, we want you in the hospital at 9:30. And please don't come by yourself. It's the family members.
Yes.
So I called the sister, the twin sister.
That is just what they tell you. They don't see.
Yeah, they didn't tell me anything. But that foreboding feeling was there. So I called the sister. And immediately I tell the sister, the twin sister, she screams.
Have a twin sister.
Yeah, he had a twin sister. Actually, they were born triplets. So the twin sister screams because for her, she has gone through that experience. She knows when you're called like that, it means the report is not good. So she started screaming. She got hold of her sons. Those my nephews, they were very close to their uncle. And me now, I got my eldest daughter. And I told her, because she was graduating that year. So I told her, let's go to the hospital and find out what it is. I got hold of my dad. My dad at that time was based in Nairobi. So we went to Kenyatta University, Referral Hospital. We were headed into a room. And these young doctors came in. It's when the long story started. It was felt like this. He collapsed. They tried to resuscitate. Nothing doing. So he was confirmed dead at 11. He said it was 11:40 something. So sorry. He used to tell you that it was a shock because this is somebody within 48 hours? We didn't see it coming.
You had been in communication.
The last communication we had was on Saturday. Because at that time they take the phones, they take everything. They take everything. Yeah, you cannot communicate. You didn't hear the way they used to complain. Those who are found positive, and then they were put in quarantine.
They allow their phones as long as they're not critically ill.
There was a lot of.
There was a lot of.
There was a lot of. So now with that report, with everything,
Stigmatization.
yes, and stigmatization. With that report, of course, it was that time when if somebody has been confirmed and passed on to that COVID, you're given how many? Was it 3 days?
Yeah,
72 hours. Yes, 72 hours to do the barrier.
So Alice, now you have all been put in a room. This daughter has broken the news. How did you receive the news? Did you have any of your children with you?
My daughter was with me. My husband was there. At that time, she was 23. She was there with me. I had my nephews. My dad was there. I had the sister. So we were actually a big group, family. But it was a shocker because all of us crept. And for me, in my pain, I hide in prayer. So for me, all I could do is scream and pray. Yeah, because I did not understand. It did not make sense. I guess I was in that thing of denial, where you're saying, this thing is just happening. I know tomorrow. Tomorrow the story will be different.
Yeah, you didn't believe.
Yes. So I guess nowadays when I read about grief, I think I was going through denial and shock.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Had they been admitted in hospital any other time? Never.
He had never been admitted. He was taking a medicine for high BP, had blood pressure. That was the only thing. But otherwise, he was somebody who was strong and healthy. Yeah. It was somebody who could walk. Even that week, on Wednesday, he had walked. He had gone to, used to stay in Nairobi Dam at that time. He had gone to Freedom Heights, gotten a few things, and come back home. So all this thing was total confusion, but we had to accept it for what it was. So my dad, noticing the way I was in that confusion, so he told me, with what has happened, there's no need of us keeping him for long. Fortunately, we had insurance, so the insurance cleared his bill at the hospital and the both charges. Now we want to organize how to take him home. And you know the drama that was there. The police stations I went to, getting certificate for what.
Yes.
But I thank God everything went smoothly. Family and friends came in to support. Because it happened on a Saturday. By the next Saturday, we went to rest at home.
So you have received the news. You were just with your firstborn daughter. These other children are still at home. They do not know. So how did you relay that information to them? And how did they take it knowing that their dad was well and
The person who was affected was my last born daughter.
yes.
But because she's emotionally stable.
Yeah.
For the boys,
Yeah.
the boys are whatever.
Yes.
They are autistic. They have they're autistic.
Yes.
So for them, sometimes their emotions is not there. I remember my second born son just come and say, "Ah, Mom, Daddy amekufa." Hiya. Then you go and sit there. For them, the way they express, it's yeah. So for him, my third born, George also has, apart from autism, he has ADHD and is nonverbal. So he does not speak. Yes. So for him, even the connection, he could not connect. Yes. Yeah. So the one who was affected greatly was my last one. And she really cried. For her, it actually broke up completely. When we brought the news at home, they were just screaming. Yes. But now that week went like, it went so fast. And I think I went into autopilot. You know, sometimes you really pretend to be strong. So my grief came later.
Yes.
Yes. I went through the motions. We laid him to rest. I stayed at home for about 4 days. In our place, I think, according to our country, it's supposed to be a week or 2 weeks. But me, because of the demands at home. So I was there for 4 days. Then I came back to to start putting my things in order. Now that is when I came back. Is when now the word widow
Yes.
hit me hard. Hit me hard.
So now your family is around, you have organized the burial, it has happened, you laid your husband to rest. Now you've come back to
Nairobi.
is this family and friends, are they still around?
Yes, quite a bit.
Quite a
For me.
bit.
I thank God, my immediate family and my husband's immediate family.
Yes.
I thank God for them. Actually, they've been the greatest support in this journey. It's been 3 years down the road. Actually, I thank God even that He's given me this opportunity. This is when I am coming out. And I love the slogan, know where you planted. I'm a farmer now, and there's something I've realized about plants.
Yes.
When a plant is uprooted from where it was and replanted in a new place, you know it first dies.
Yes.
It dies, it caucas, mpaka you think this thing is gone and gone and gone.
Yes.
But just give it time. Be patient with it. The next time you come there, you find it has bloomed.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that was my journey. That was my journey with that. Or it's still my journey.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
I am still a widow. That has been my journey.
So now you came back, you're saying you're realizing now the phrase widow now seems.
Yes. Now the phrase widow hits me. Those who are close to me are close.
Yes.
I had a good friend who told me something. A Kikuyu friend, she's called Esther.
Yes.
Esther told me because when you've lost somebody, when everybody is there, I'm telling you, you are told promises. You even think your life is going to be better than when your man was alive. Yes. All those promises. And I don't blame them because I guess at that time everybody is emotional.
Yes.
So some people say things that they cannot even deliver.
Deliver.
And this is what I want to tell people. Please don't promise when you know you cannot. You'd rather be silent so that you don't keep the hope of this person who is grieving. Because at that time they're emotionally unstable. Yeah. So for me, a good friend put me in check and told me, Alice, all these things you will hear, but I'll give you a reality check. Immediately your husband is down there. You do it very quickly. He wants to give you back. Ni wewe na
Yeah.
And I thank God because William was somebody who loved good things in life.
Yeah.
So the kind of life that we were leading was a life that was very good. He believed in education. He gave his children the best education, the ones who could go to school.
Yes.
Was my daughter, alimpeleka Strathmore. Alisema msichana wake asome university ingine, because even him is an alumni of Strathmore. And my youngest daughter was in a good private school. Then we were living in Nairobi Dam, you know, the level, whatever. So I looked here and I said, since I'm not working, I had to start upgrading.
Yes.
So I decided, let me move from that place. I gave a notice to my landlord. I moved to Kamulu. I stayed in Kamulu for about 3 months.
Yes.
Then one time I just realized even Kamulu, staying there was becoming, because I was becoming a burden. I'm not working. And sometimes working was a problem because I'm also a caregiver of these two boys with special needs. They are big boys. Sometimes getting helpers to come and watch over them is not easy. Yes. So here I am. I'm supposed to be with them. So
Your last born daughter is still in school?
she's in Form 2 now.
No,
She's 16 years.
And the other one had cleared. The elder one had
The elder one had cleared. Yes. And we thank God, because even God works in miraculous ways.
Yes.
Fortunately, she got a job. So she's working, she's staying in Nairobi. So me, I'm dealing with the other kids. My second born is, the difference between them is just a year. Eric is, at that time, Eric was 22. Yeah. And George was 15, because now he's 18, he's turning 18. So adjusting was tough.
So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, Alice is going to tell us how she had to cope, the adjustments she had to make, and how the journey has been to date. We were at the point where now she has lost her husband through COVID. They have laid him to rest. She has come back to the city, and now she is learning to adjust and cope with the new life. Tell us about that.
I know we had gotten to the part where I moved to Kamulu.
Yes.
So Kamulu, it was actually a downgrade, but I was able to adjust. And the reality also set in, because I was paying rent there.
Yes.
And I also didn't want to be a burden to family. So I realized I had to make the toughest decision in my life.
Yes.
We had a plot somewhere, and I decided I was going to start from the bottom. Because it was just a land, there was nothing in. I think what was there was, we had just dug a well. So I thank God I had water. But basically there was nothing.
Yes.
So I decided to quickly, with the resources that I had, to see what I could do.
Yes.
By God's grace, I was able to start a building, got it to lintel. Then they call it the lintel stage.
Yes.
And I just told my children that, fortunately for the boys will go where I am, even if I live in a home. That is one of the good sides of whatever they are dealing with. Because everything in life has a positive and negative. For them, their needs are very basic. So there's no challenge. My greatest challenge was my youngest daughter.
How old are the boys?
The boys, at that time, Eric was 22. George was 15. And Maggie was 14 with 15. Yes. Because now she was moving from a very good school, a private school, where she was being picked from at the door with a school bus. Now we are going to another life. Actually, it was Ishadi life, where she will walk to school and all that. But sometimes in our pain, I think some of the greatest lessons we pick come from sources that we cannot even imagine. Because me, one thing I can say, my youngest daughter was also a big lesson to me. Because when I told her the school that she was going to go there is a public school, it's a school whereby, of course, you know how the Shadi schools is. She told me, Mom, it is okay. See the land there. See the learners there. It's okay. Me, as long as where you are is where I am. So actually, those words strengthened me, and then we moved to the Moine, and I started life there. The initial stages, and I think that is where my grieving started, because most of the people now are dispersed. Now that is when.
And you have moved further from the city.
Further from the city. It's a place whereby if the person who comes to visit you is actually somebody who lives there. Because the distance, the road is not done. It is at road. It is very far away in Mashambani. Yeah? And starting to adjust, because I was a city girl. I was brought up in the city.
Born, bred,
Yes.
grew up when you were Nairobi
Born,
girl.
schooled, everywhere.
Yes.
Kula raha zote Nairobi. Now I'm back to that life. So adjusting was quite tricky.
Yes, let me get something before you go on, Alice. You mentioned your husband was working. Are there some benefits probably you got from his workplace? Something?
That is one of the darkest places, but I think it was a place you can come as lessons. I think in my pain, I was naive, I was taken advantage. I was taken advantage of. And I remember I wanted to, I even contacted a lawyer and gave the information so that the lawyer could pursue the matter. Then actually it's my girls who told me, now you want to start following these things. Yeah? If something happens to you, and now dad is not there, let it go. If what is ours, God will pay. Yeah? Let it go. It was really, I think those are some of the
Was
things.
it an international, a foreign company, or a local company? Because it goes, is it that someone else picked to benefit? Or
That is what I will never know.
they never got in touch with you?
When I queried, I was told he was a consultant. So as a consultant, he did not need many benefits. And then again, he was based in Ethiopia. So the details from Ethiopia, I did not have. And this is also one thing I really want to tell you. Please know where your partner works.
Yes.
Follow up, know the basic details. Because I think for me, I was so busy here that I did not pursue some of this information.
Yeah.
And because of that, somebody either took advantage of me or it is just lying somewhere there and I didn't know how to do it. Yeah?
Have you tried to contact the organization?
I have tried,
Yes.
but Ethiopia it's a very interesting country. The people who have tried even to pursue tell me they are not friendly and all that, but it's something that I've not allowed it to lie. It's something that I will pursue because, as I told you, I still needed to go through the motion so that I did. And now is the time I am actually getting a grip of myself. Yeah, because I think in that darkness, I lost myself. I lost myself completely. Dealing with the conditions of my sons. Of course, there's some places I got rejection. So it's not an easy path. But what I can say is, with God, everything is possible. You overcome, you learn from the lessons, you forgive.
So you kept referencing to God. Probably, were you born again then? Were you before you met your husband, or did you receive salvation after? How was your relationship with God before and now after?
Actually, for me, I got born again when I was in high
Wow.
So my relationship with God has been there. It's only that as you grow, I have to accept we are human.
Yes.
Sometimes you deviate,
Yes.
but our God is merciful. So you come back, you cry out in repentance, and yes. So I was very close, and I think that is one of the things that actually helped me through those motions, because it's not a place I would wish on anyone.
Yes.
You reach a point, and I don't even know which one I can describe, because there are nights that I would actually sit outside. Fortunately, it's a place that is very open. I have fenced my place, so the security is there. So I would sit outside even until 1 p.m., just looking at the stars, asking God questions.
1 a.m.
1 a.m. at night, yes. Actually, now getting into the next day.
It's 1 a.m.
So just asking God questions, trying to understand. eh? And it's a normal feeling. When I really read about grief, I understood it's a process that you have to go through. And I thank God that I went through it. The emotions, they were not easy on me,
Yeah.
but the lessons that I picked out from it were very, very, I think I grew. And one of them was also my connection with God. On the other, I actually connected with you guys in a very interesting way.
Yes.
My sister who follows me, we are very close. We really talk a lot, we share.
Yes.
And she was one of the supportive ones, because she told me that I know it's not easy. I will walk with you. I will walk with you through this journey. And she made sure when it comes to foodstuffs, because I was fortunate, I was not paying rent.
Yes.
I had water, electricity, we had good solar. So those bills were not on me. What was my heaviest bill was food. So she stood with me when it came to food.
You know, you had stopped at a point where you said that it was just land. Oh yeah, so you build up to the lintel. Oh yes,
I built up to the lintel.
Oh yes.
But because you cannot stay in a place where there's no roof,
Yes, true.
I built we call them aluminium apartments.
Yes.
I built a nice aluminium apartment and moved in with my children.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So there, I got solar, and solar. Now we had water.
Yes.
For power, I had solar.
Wow.
Yeah. So life was bearable.
And your daughter enrolled in a private school.
Yes. And there again, the school fees is very fair.
Yes.
Yes. Very, very fair.
So you
to where I was
have
coming from.
started from the scratch with just the little resources,
Yes, the basic.
nothing from where your spouse was working. And remember, you are a stay-home mom.
So by God's grace, at least I was able to put all those things in motion. But I think also what helped me is I looked at the luxuries that I had, because at that time I used to have my car. I sold my car. After selling my car, that is what helped me to put some of these things in motion. Fortunately, when we were a bit younger, when we had started the relationship, we had invested in a land somewhere. So, and that is why I will say, and this one I will say, no matter what you go through, God will always come through. Because when I was in this place between rock and a hard word, and I didn't know where to turn, God brought in someone who decided to go back. So those funds were able to give me a soft landing when I moved to wherever, to the point where I am currently. But you see, life goes on. There's still food to be eaten, and then there are also some small bills to be paid. Yeah. So this is where my sister stood with me.
Yes.
And because I used to share with her, I think there's something that you had posted. It was either you had a talk somewhere interview, because she shared that with me.
I think I had an interview with Hope FM. I'm not sure.
Yes, Hope FM. Actually, it was Hope FM. So she shared that with me, and she told me, because home they call me Betty, or like you need to see this one. I'm telling you, In fact, Siji, they're having a meeting somewhere.
Oh, yes.
I want you to go. I want you to go. You need to go and sit with us, Mama. You share, you laugh.
Yes.
She's also a very strong. In fact, she's my younger sister. But I tell her she teaches me more. Yeah. When it comes to faith, living by faith and doing all that.
Yes.
So she's the one who funded my first meeting when I came to Ogiadada.
Wow.
So I came and I think I was very encouraged because those are the things that made me realize that I'm not in this thing alone. And what I'm going through is not only unique to me. Yes. So this thing of sharing and all that. So even where I was, I decided, yes, it is what it is. Let me deal with what God has put on my hands. So I started dealing family food I was getting from the shamba.
Yes.
And somehow, slowly and slowly, I adjusted, learning, accepting, and moving on. Place where my partner was, the fans, I just had to reach a point of forgiveness and let him know the situation. Let him know it's the hardest. But I thank God I was able to deal with that. It's still, that kidonda has not gone on. Sometimes when you think about it and you're going through the motions of life, because bills still need to be paid, yes, there are things to be finished and all that. I still think about it, but I say, if it is mine, God will be. If it is not mine, then let it be. God will supply in His own way.
Some people say they cannot pray. Some people are actually unable to pray during grief. Others get bitter with God. And especially now for you, where you have to lost a spouse, you lost a lifestyle. Sometimes in death, you do not only lose your loved one. There are so many, is loss, or their loss comes with the loss of other things. So you think that did not affect your relationship with God? Are there times you questioned?
It did.
God?
It did. I remember there was a time I was mad at God. There was a time. This time I'm dealing with the emotions of the loss of my husband.
Yes.
My son is going through what he's going through.
Yes.
It's not the eldest. ADHD is something very interesting. It's attention deficit hyperactive disorder. My son has now grown taller than me. He's tall and he's big and he's huge. And going through these motions, I had lost weight. I had actually shrink. And then sometimes the hyperactivity is so much. And when it comes, he's very distracted. It's very distracted. So I'm dealing with that. There's a time he disappeared. A neighbor tells me he's been seen here another school. I have to get out and run. So I remember that day when we got home, I really asked him. Asked him, surely God, how am I doing? I have these two young men who are going through what they are going through. I don't question because God is the one who creates. I do not create the information. And He knows why somebody is there. Now, with this load, you also take the person who was our pillar. And when you took him, I told him, I said you are my pillar. Because I come from a community where the religions comes, there's inheritance. Yes. And I remember when we were laying to rest, even my dad came and backed me, told them we are Christians. Yes. That topic never arises. We don't. So there is a when a person tried it, like I told him, my husband is here. Yeah. So I told God, I had said, you're my partner, the father, children, you're my husband. And you can see me going through all these things. Yeah? There are places I've been rejected. Here I am dealing with this young man. There's no I can take him after the mother. There's a reason why you choose me to be the mother. But there's a point I got bitter. But the good thing is, even in my bitterness, I still saw the goodness of the Lord. Because I counted my blessings. Despite what I'm going through, I had hope. Despite what I'm going through, I had food. Despite what I'm going through, the basic needs.
You had life, you had health.
I had health, yes. And even these kids, as much as they're going through what they're going through, it's not like I'm rushing them to hospital or anything. That is what they pay. And through my voice, I joined a program whereby they support children with intellectual disabilities, because that is what my sons are doing. And through them, they support the siblings. So they took a whole load. So that load is also for me. See, yes, that is God. See God. So when I looked at all those things, I had to come on my knees. Because I know this bitterness was taking me down among them. And bitterness is. So I remember I really prayed after that. And there's something you mentioned about you reach a point whereby you can't pray. I reached that point. But when I reach a point when I cannot pray, I always make sure the Lord's Prayer is on my lips.
Oh, yeah.
So I always say the Lord's Prayer. And with that, I was able to navigate through the motions until now. I'm still with my sons. The sons are still in the morning. They don't go to school because there are no special schools around them. Yeah, so I am at home with them. And my girls, God help them. My son, my daughter last one did standard 8 in the morning primary. And then she got called to come in a very good school. So she's there. And my firstborn is working.
Wow.
She's actually blooming.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Tell us about were you going to church with your husband or before the church play any role in your bereavement or during that period? Were you attached to any church?
Now, the interesting thing, and that one I take responsibility for it, I've always been somebody who, I go to church,
Yes.
but I never connected. And that is where I take responsibility. Actually, I never connected because we've been moving.
Yes.
I remember when we were staying, initially, when we got married, I was staying in Nairobi West.
Yes.
I used to go to Sitam Valley. Then we moved to Dagoretti, near Dagoretti Corner. I used to go to Sitam at Sakate.
Yes.
Then we came to Grace. Fortunately, Sitam was everywhere. I went to Sitam. Now, when we moved to Nairobi Dam, there's Sitam, Karen.
Yes.
And I had started going to Sitam Karen. I'd even joined the women's ministry. But even despite that, me not really connected, my relationship with God had always been there.
Yeah.
Because anytime I was dealing with, because in life you deal with so many losses. Because even the loss of my job was something that was very ridiculous and malicious. Yeah. God helped me with that and I sailed through it. If I look at the birth of my children, with the condition and these are boys, a lot of things were said. Because it's the boys who are affected, the girls are sound. Yes, a lot of things have been said. And somehow knowing God helped me actually go through it. But the mistake that I made is I never connected. Where I worship, I never connected. So when this thing happened, that is something that we didn't see coming. Because COVID came in and then this thing came, it was just like a wine. Then he passes on. Even his last maybe in Kenyatta University Referral Hospital, there is that prayer session at the chapel. I thank God for my parents. My parents are in SCK. They got a very good, he was a family friend and he was a pastor, Pastor Mike. Mike came, Mike assisted us through the motions. And I remember his preaching. That is one of the things that started giving me strength from that time. Then when we went home, the family, it's a Christian home, so they had the pastor to visit the home. They handled the last right and everything. Now we laid him to rest. Everything went as normal and everything. Now when we left there, I moved to Kamulu. Kamulu, I'd never really got that place for worship. But this day, then we moved to Ndohoini.
Yes.
Now Ndohoini, I was trying to get myself in church. But again, remember, I was dealing with bitterness.
Yes.
So it was
Yeah.
it was a tug of war. Yeah. So a place of worship where I could go and mingle with other Christians and share. I got it, ironically. Wow. Interestingly. And it's very interesting. But again, that is also one lesson that I've learned. in
Yes.
this journey.
Yes.
And that is what I would take women, even men. Connect. Sometimes when things are going well in our lives, we think that you can be on your own. But human beings, we are social beings. You cannot be an island. You cannot survive. Yeah. And for me, I think that is what made my grief so long. It's been 3 years, actually. It's going to be 4 years in November. Yeah, it's been 3 years. And this is what has eliminated my grief. But I thank God for the lessons.
Wow, I'm glad you finally found a place to connect and we have been impactful. Praise be to God. So now you have talked about rejection, having to deal with your sons, your spiritual truth. Wait, what other challenges did you face socially and how did you overcome them?
The other thing I face socially is, I remember when we were talking earlier, I mentioned to you how you lose yourself.
Yes.
You talked of losing a lifestyle.
Yes. Oh,
I had a lifestyle in the city, we're living good, we're doing well. As a woman, I would take care of myself, I would do myself. Now I've gone to this place, and I remember the first time I went there. Now I'm shaggy. Now I'm trying to fit in with those people. I'm forgetting who I am as Alice.
Yes.
I remember I would look for very long fingers, long, looking fine. My daughter would look at me and say, "Hey, ma, no, that what?" I let myself go. And by letting myself go, it also does something to yourself. So basically, I think those are the things that even made my roll downhill very fast. Yeah. Until I came to the place where I had to help myself to admit it. And funny and interesting enough, it's interesting, again, it happened here.
Wow.
That time, when we came for that meeting, the last one.
Which one? The one.
The one
last
where you saved me, remember?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
that
the
one.
one in, was it March?
March,
Yeah, the
yes.
first
Actually,
meeting.
this year.
Yes. Yes.
When we came here, and Pastor Carol
Yes.
preached about the Shunammite woman.
Yes. Yes. I remember.
Shunammite woman, and then Flo added what she added.
Yes. Oh, the finance talk.
The finance talk, and also this thing. She also mentioned something about sometimes when life hits us hard, we pull the victim card.
Yes. A lot of times.
Yes, where you have the goye,
And you feel I'm a widow.
Yes.
The one owes me.
and then
Victim
somebody
mode.
tells me, "Hey, Alice, nobody will care for your story until you win." And it is so true. It is so true. That day when we got here, out of here, no excuses. I think we were told we write something that we are planning to do. We never left those whatever. We never gave out those papers. I said, God help me. But the next time, there's a project I've been thinking of starting.
Yes.
The next time I am coming here, I'm going to tell these people, this is a project I will start. At least I've made progress. I might not be where I want to be, but at least I've made progress. I've made step 1, step 2, step 3. So actually, that is when I started blooming.
Wow.
That is, I don't know if you realize, even when I came here, nilikuwa nakaa. Let me laugh about it. It is life. If we don't laugh at ourselves,
There's actually a beauty.
yes,
You are now glowing, or is it blooming?
all of them. All of them. Yeah, because the journey of widowhood is not easy. Because again, there's a rejection. I don't know if it's there, but sometimes you find yourself in a group of women. They are threatened. I don't know if they are threatened by your singlehood. So you find even those people used to be close to you, kind of like just want to be far from you. So that is also one thing that can affect. But one thing I always say as a widow, if we can go through the motions, just allow it to happen. If you feel like crying, I mean, there are times I would feel like crying, I would lock myself in my bed and I would cry. I would even put a pillow on my face, scream into it. Then by the time I'm getting out of there, you won't know. But I allow myself to go through the motions. And somehow with God's grace.
Yes. So you started your project, and it is it halfway?
I'm not where I want to be, but I've started.
Yes.
I can see I have made 3 steps. Wow. Yes. So hopefully, by the time we are having the one in December, I'll be coming here with the products of that business.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. So as we wind up, probably, what do you think are the do's and don'ts for those people who come to is it to grieve with you during that time, or even the people around you that time? Are there things you experienced that you'd like to point out?
Yeah, actually, that is a very critical part of it. One thing I would say, please don't promise you to come again.
Oh yes.
You give people very high expectations.
Yes.
Then you leave them at a point where they're very vulnerable.
Yes.
Me, I know there are 3 occasions when I was really broken, but I realized this is not man. So for me, I was fortunate.
Yes.
I have a relationship with God. I can imagine those who do not have a relationship with God, when you just put your faith and trust in Him, of course it will break you.
Yeah.
And when you're grieving with somebody, if you really cannot say anything, just be there. Just be there. Yes. I think at the end of the day, just being there, walking with this person, hearing them out. And another thing, let me not forget, I hope I'm not extending the time.
No, it's fine.
There's this thing that people want to help you, but they want to help you with the knowledge that they need. I am the one who's going through this pain. I'm the one who's wearing this shoe.
Yes.
So this person will come and they will tell you the one you want. I really had that. And I know it's rubbed. There are some relationships that I'm not in. Because there are people who wanted me to do a certain thing, but they did not live my life. They did not know my reality. And because I stubbornly said no, they took it. They took it the bad.
Like they're giving conditions.
Yeah. So sometimes I think people should have empathy. As much as you sympathize with this person, you cannot walk into their shoe. So just try to understand somebody. When they tell you, this is what I'm going through and this is what I want to do, people should have that understanding. Yes, that compassionate spirit. Not to force their way on someone. Yeah. This one happens, but especially on the widows.
Yes.
It happens quite a lot.
Now, probably there's someone out there who is freshly grieving. They lost their spouse a month, yesterday, today, or a few days ago, and they're still lost in themselves. They're still lost in their grief. What would be your word of encouragement to them?
I would tell them, because I know at that point the pain, no word would really work. But they should take it, they should go through the emotions. Whatever they are feeling, let them allow it to happen. And then if they could lean on God, the greatest, is to say the truth. And for me, that was my reality check. Is you realize you're not the first one, either you're the last one. I remember when I was going to pick the death certificate for my husband. As I was sitting there, a young lady came and sat next to me. She's pregnant. She has a 3-year-old baby. This is a young girl. And that was a reality check for me. A reality, I went home, as much as I was grieving and I was sad, I realized that somebody else, the load is even heavier. Yeah. And for that, I would tell the person, whoever is going through it, they should look at what they have extra. That is how you beat depression. Count your blessings. Look at the things that, as much as you've gone through this loss, what is going back for you. If you've lost your spouse, has it left you with beautiful children? Can you see the children? Are the children healthy? Start thanking. No matter how little it is, just start thanking. Just thanking God for that. And I don't know, this one worked for me quite well. I realized when I'm in that place of gratitude, yes, all these dark feelings, they dissipate, they disappear. So that is what I would tell a person who is grieving. It is not an easy road. It is never easy. But when you look inward, you start counting your blessings as you anchor yourself in God, it becomes better. And it gets better.
Were you able to seek any professional help?
My professional help, I guess, was my sister. So when I'm going through my emotions, I would call her.
Yeah.
We talk and talk and talk way into the night.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I would. The other thing that helps me is music. I love music.
Yeah.
So worship music. I would put it quite a lot. And believe you me, if you put worship,
yes,
whatever you're going through, you'll find a song that will speak
that
to that
works
situation.
for me as well. Really still does.
Still does.
Still
Me too.
does.
Me
Still
too.
does.
Yes.
There's never, I realize, there's never a point you get and you say you're fully healed. Yeah, it just gets bearable.
It gets bearable, and you reach a point where you accept it, and you move on. And sometimes when you look at the children, you say, at least you have a memory. Yeah. Wow. Thank God for that.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Your parting shots? Any parting shot?
My parting shot would be that widows should know that they are loved by God. It doesn't matter what you're going through, it doesn't matter what you're doing, know that you have a husband, and the husband is God. And He has promised to never leave us, nor forsake us.
Amen. Maybe are there plans to probably move on in future? Like relationship things?
If God makes a way,
Amen.
if God makes a way, why not? Our God is a mysterious God. He's a God of wonders.
And you've not started getting pressure from your children?
What I mean, listen, they say women, we don't like to say our numbers.
Yeah.
Me, I'm proud of my numbers. I thank God for every minute, every second, every hour, every day, every week, every decade.
Yes.
Every half a century.
Wow.
Yeah. So every half a century. So I thank God. And one thing I always say, it's never too late. It's never too late. So my kids, the younger one, sometimes she says, now you have to be 18. She's turning 18 next year.
Yeah. So if that boss comes, you are ready. Thank you so much for your time, Alice. It's been a pleasure having a chat with you. I have learned quite a lot from you. Yeah, I'm also learning. Yeah, and really, I pray for more grace to you. I know it's never easy, but I know God's grace is sufficient. Yeah, so may the Lord give you more strength even to take care of those young men.
Thank you.
And even your daughter, and may you just be strengthened every other day. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. That has been our time with Alice. So, like you have had, connect, connect, and connect. See you next time. Bye bye.